All right. So in this game, how do we solve it? Or how do we find the equilibrium? Well, we can try to find, equilibrium. What equilibrium are we talking about, right? Well, we can find the Nash equilibrium of this game, something that we already learned. Well, because it is an extensive form game, we can actually try to find the subgame perfect Nash equilibrium of this game. And in fact, if we have any other new equilibrium concept, which we have, you may talk about Bayesian-Nash equilibrium. Bayesian-Nash equilibrium of this game, right? I mean, you'll see finding Nash equilibrium is going to be easier than Bayesian-Nash equilibrium for an extensive form game. Or you can, as I said, we are going to describe a new equilibrium concept, which is called perfect Bayesian-Nash equilibrium. Well, we will actually later, not in this episode, use this solution concept. This is the new one. And this is, don't forget, the simultaneous move game. All right? And you know that Nash equilibrium is always true for simultaneous move game. Well, I mean, Nash equilibrium, you can apply it to simultaneous move games, extensive form games, games with incomplete information. So you can apply it to any games. But the thing is, Nash equilibrium, as you remember, are going to give us a lot of equilibrium, a lot of prediction, I mean, or so to speak, it is not going to give us a solid prediction about what the solution of this game should be for extensive form games, because everything is going to become equilibrium, Nash equilibrium. So we use the refinement concept, SPNE, so we can try to use this. So this is for extensive form games, remember. So we can try to use a subgame perfect Nash equilibrium. But first, we have to understand what strategy will look in games like this. All right, so let's do that. Well, here, let's try to figure out the strategies for the firms. Start with firm 1. Well, firm 1, remember our approach in Bayesian-Nash equilibrium or in Bayesian games. Here, we have two players, firm 1 and firm 2. However, one of those players, firm 1, has two potentially different types. And so they may behave differently. And so remember our approach in Bayesian-Nash equilibrium. We treat each type of a player as if it is a different player. All right? So therefore, when I write down strategy set for player 1, I'm going to write it for low type or low marginal cost type, and I'm going to write it for high marginal cost type of firm 1. All right? Again, in this game, they have exactly the same strategies. In other games, they may have different strategies. For example, here, the high marginal cost firm 1 could actually have strategies different than low marginal cost firm 1s. But in this game, they have exactly the same strategies. But nevertheless, when we talk about a strategy profile, we should assign a strategy not only for low type, but also for high type, because both of them are possible. All right? Both types are possible. So here, the firm 1's strategies are, I'm going to name those strategies as 4 and 8. And you understand what I mean by 4 and 8. The quantity level is 4 or quantity level is 8. Okay? That's it. Well, what about firm 2? Well, firm 2 doesn't have two types, right? Because its marginal cost is publicly known by everybody, and therefore it has only one type in a sense. Well, what are the strategies for firm 2? Well, here, don't forget, firm 1 has only, firm 1 of low type has only one decision node. Therefore, his strategies are singleton. Because remember, strategy is a function that maps each decision node to an action. So here, what does that mean? Again, once again, we are coming back to this definition of strategy again and again. But trust me, our definition of strategy was the same, is the same since the beginning of this course. All right? So strategy is basically for each decision node for a player, an action. All right, so here firm 1 of low type has only one decision node, but two available action. So therefore a strategy, he has two strategies. One strategy is one action, the other strategy is the other action. Same for firm 1 of high type. However, firm 2 has two information sets, and so I have to tell what this firm 2 is going to do at every information set he has, even though some of them may not be reached in equilibrium. So in each info set, he has total of two available actions. So that means firm 2 is going to have four strategies. So I'm going to denote them as 4-4, 4-8, 8-4, 8-8. So you should read them as if 4-4 means firm 2 is going to choose four quantities in both info sets. 4-8 means he's going to choose four here. This is my first info set, all right? And the firm 2 is going to choose quantity 8 here. 8-4 means he's going to choose 8 here, and he's going to choose 4 here. And 8-8 means he's going to choose he's going to choose 8 units of output everywhere. So these are the strategies for firm 2. So therefore, if we talk about an equilibrium, Nash or SPNE or whatever, a strategy profile is going to look something like this, right? So it's going to be S, which is an element of S1 high type cross S1 low type cross S2. So therefore, one example for a strategy profile is, for instance, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so there's a lot of 4s here. But what does that mean? That means firm 1 of low type and high type, both types are going to produce 4 units of output, and firm 2 will always produce 4 units of output. All right. Another example is 4, 8, 8, 4. So what does that mean? That means firm 1 of low type is producing 4 units of output. All right. So basically choosing this. Firm 1 of high type is choosing 8 units of output, meaning choosing this. And then firm 2 is playing 8 here, meaning this, and 4 here, meaning this. So the question is, what is going to be the outcome of this strategy profile? If you follow the arrows, what are you going to get? Well, here, be careful. You are going to get two potential outcomes. One outcome is this. The second outcome is, if you follow the arrows, this. So what does that mean? That means if firm 1 is actually low type, right? Well, then firm 1 is going to be getting 3 units of output, and firm 2 is going to be getting 7 units of output. However, if firm 1 is a high type, the actual type, the true type of firm 1 is a high type, well then, according to this strategy profile, the firm 1 is going to be getting 0 payoff, and firm 2 is going to be getting 12 payoff. So what does that mean? Therefore, if this is the strategy profile, the payoffs are going to be as follows. Firm 1 of low type is getting 3 units of payoff. Firm 1 of high type is getting 0 unit of payoff. What about firm 2? Firm 2 is getting 7 units of payoff with probability Q, and 12 units of payoff with probability 1 minus Q. So this is exactly why we need to calculate expected payoff for firm 2, but we don't need to calculate expected payoff for firm 1 of high type or low type, because there is no uncertainty for them. The only uncertainty these firms are, the only player who is facing an uncertainty here is firm 2. Right? Because firm 1 knows its own cost. Firm 2, however, is unsure about what type of opponent it's facing. So for that reason, only firm 2 will be calculating an expected payoff. All right? So obviously here, under this strategy profile, 4, 4, 4, 4, what does that mean? Well, the arrows are going to be different, right? Low type firm is playing 4. High type firm is also playing 4, so I need to erase this arrow. And 4, 4 means firm 2 is playing 4 here, and 4 here, so erase this, and 4 here, 4 here. So this time under this strategy profile, the payoffs are going to be firm 1, the low cost firm 1 is getting payoff 5, and then the high firm 1 is getting, this is high, it is getting payoff 2. And the firm 2, however, well, this part of the game will never be reached because firm 1 will never be playing 8, fine. And firm 2's payoff is going to be 5 with probability q, and 5 with probability 1 minus q, which means firm 2 is going to get payoff of 5 for sure, right? Because the expected payoff here is equal to 5. So yes, this is how we write the strategy for each player and each type. And this is what a strategy profile will look like. Well, the question is, what is the Nash equilibrium of this game, or how do we find the Nash equilibrium of this game, and how do we find the subgame perfect Nash equilibrium of this game?